Bless up, bless up, bless up. You know what it is. It's your little brother, Prince Judavon. Just wanted to come on one more time and read through this book of OISP, the most dangerous book in these YouTube streets right now. Everybody want to talk mess about the book and ain't reading it. So here at Millennium Zion, shout out to the students of Millennium Zion. Shout out to the Creative Gang. Shout out to my big bros, Malachi Maccabee, Daryl Cosman, Callan, Selah Shalom, just in all the Creative Gang, man. Bless up, peace and love to everybody that has taken time to sit down and study OISP in reality, in real time, instead of just talking mess out of your misfortunate mouth. You dig what I'm saying? You got to analyze the information. You got to see whether these things be true. You got to test the spirits. You dig what I'm saying? If indeed John Newbro was inspired by a spirit, the question then comes, well, what did the spirit say? What did he write when he was typing on that typewriter under the quote-unquote possession of the angel? Right? He didn't say it was a... Anyway, I don't want to get too deep into that. My point is, you got to read it. So let's go ahead and take some time today and crack open the book of inspiration found in the Cosmon Bible OISP. And let's see what it says. Let's see if we can see anything evil in here or anything that would cause us to think that this book was somehow, demonic in any way. All right? We just reading. Just reading. If it makes sense, all praises. You know what I'm saying? If it's a blessing, let it be a blessing. In the name of the all and all great spirit of our Creator, let's read. Book of Inspiration, OISP, Chapter 1. These are the words of Te in Cosmon. Te means the highest light of all humanity. Right? These are the words of Te in Cosmon. I am light. I am central, but boundless, says Jehovah. I give you my light, and when you have received, you cry out, behold, I am wise. Your corporate I made, in which to localize you, to mature your entity. Without me, you would not have come to life. You are like the end of a ray of light from my person. I am to your spirit like the sun is to a ray of light. I am the light that illuminates your soul. The ray of light that goes out from me takes root in mortality, and you are the product, the tree. You were nothing, though all things that constitute you existed before. These I drove together and quickened. Thus I made you. In the way that I made you corporally, so I made you spiritually, intellectually. As I made your corporeal body out of corpor, so out of my light, which is my very self, I built you up in spirit with consciousness that you are. You cannot add the tiniest fraction to your corporeal self by your own will and exertion. It is by and through me that the process of absorption by the blood adds to you. Your blood flows in your veins because of my quickening power upon you. When I withdraw my hand, you die. Life and death are of me. All your corporeal part is, therefore, of me and through me. So also is your spirit of me. And as you cannot add a fraction to your corporeal self, neither can you add a fraction to your spiritual self. Your spirit grows out of myself. Nor can you of your own self manufacture, acquire, or make to yourself one new thought, idea, or invention. All thought, knowledge, and judgment which you have, I gave to you. As the whirlwind gathers up dust and drives it toward the center, so is the plan of my universe. You are like a center. All things come to you from without. Your knowledge, as well as your corporeality, came to you from outside, from that which was external to yourself. Chapter 2. You are made of inspiration, says Jehovah, Creator. I made you a corporeal body, and I wrote upon it. You are the result. And I made you susceptible to all things external to yourself. So all things external to yourself could write upon you. The sum of these is your knowledge. As it is with you, so with all men, and with all the living I created. Nor is there any knowledge in the world but what I gave. All of it is of my inspiration. Man said, by certain measurements I teach my son mathematics. I am behind all, saith Jehovah. I taught your father's father, and all who were before him. The sum of all man's knowledge is merely man's capacity to perceive my light. I made you my servant to teach your son by certain measurements. This was the road I made to reach your son's soul. Man said, I know more than my father did, and yet my father knew more than his father did. We reason, we digest, we compound from one another. I am the all external. From me smaller lights are focalized, says Jehovah. A man holds a condensing lens, convex lens to the sun, and he lights a fire with it. And yet the lens did not contain the heat. You have accumulated knowledge in the same way, yet you did not conceive any knowledge of your own, but all came from me. I gave it all. The increase in knowledge now upon the earth with all the races of men is only the increase I gave. Man of himself created none of it. Neither can you create one thought, idea, or impulse. You can only gather together from my harvest or from me in person. Chapter 3. I made the eye of man to obtain knowledge by light, but the ear of man I made to obtain knowledge from darkness. And within darkness, said Jehovah, Creator, I gave the power of touch to man, by which he could learn adaptability and compatibility and incompatibility of things with himself. These are the corporeal doorways I gave to you, O man, by which you are able to receive knowledge from me and my creations consciously to yourself. Through these, you are constantly impregnated. Through these, your soul accumulates knowledge of my works. Whatever is charged upon these doorways of your soul is inspiration. When you see bread, you are inspired to eat. When you see a horse, you are inspired to ride. When you touch a nettle, you are inspired with pain. Yet in all cases, you must have practice before you can comprehend the inspiration that comes to you from these external things. Man says, today I remember my friend, whom I have not seen for many years. Jehovah says, I made you like a storehouse and like a book that was written before And I gave you power to reread your store and your book within your soul. This was the accumulated inspiration that I had previously given you. When you were fervored, entranced, or in diverse action from your usual bent, your soul turns into these stores, and your memory comes forth wonderfully. This is the manifestation of inspiration which I had previously given to you. I made you so that you would receive inspiration not only from the world external to yourself, but inspiration from the members of your body. Your impression upon you, my impression upon you was inspiration, but you must realize my inspiration in order to know me. An idiot holds fire in his hand, and it gives him pain, but yet he does not know the cause or where the pain originates. So also I come to you and give you inspiration, but you do not discern me. Another man discerns my presence and my inspiration. He hears me speak. He sees my person. Yet I am with both alike. One man opens his mouth to speak, and behold, my words come forth. And yet another man says, no man knows Creator, none have heard him. One man is sensitive. One man is sensitive like a photographic plate for a picture, and he catches my light instantly and knows it is from me. Another one says, a sudden thought struck me, but he does not discern where it came from. Chapter 4. When the infant is young, my light is its first knowledge, says Jehovah. It sees me and hears me, and it sees and hears my angels through its spiritual senses. By the pressure of my light upon its corporeal eyes and ears, it learns to see and hears corporeally. This is the beginning of two senses, which I created to grow parallel to each other and equal in strength. But the infant, being in the corporeal world, heeds the things that appeal to the corporeal senses more than the things that appeal to the spiritual senses. So that one person grows up forgetting me and my angels. He is a skeptic. But another person grows up remembering me and my angels. He is a believer. And behold, you, O man, inquire of them, where did the idea of a creator, an all person, come from? And one of them answers you, it's inherent. It's natural. But the other answers, it is folly. It came from darkness. But I say unto you, O man, darkness cannot create an idea. Darkness would not even be known except for the light I make beside it. You cannot imagine any animal under the sun which I have not created. Man said, I imagine a horse with a fish's head and fins. Whatever you invent, says Jehovah, you merely take the parts of one of my creations and put them to another. Let this prove to you, if you cannot invent a new creature, that your forefathers did not so either in regard of me. Nevertheless, you have a thought and an idea of me and of my person. And you have a thought and an idea of the spirits of the dead. By my presence and my inspiration upon you, I taught you I am the I am, a person. But the inspiration and presence of my angels, by the inspiration and presence of my angels, I taught you of them also. My inspiration upon the bird causes it to sing. By my inspiration, I teach it to build its nest. By my presence, I color one rose red and another white. Proof of my person is in the harmony of the whole, and of every one being a person of itself, perfect in its order. Chapter 5. I have two kinds of voices, said Jehovah, the silent voice and the audible voice. I created all men susceptible to one or the other of my voices, and many to both. One man hears me in the breeze, and in thunder, and in music, and another hears my voice in the flowers of the field, and in the scenery of the mountains. And yet another feels my inspiration, and he skips up the mountainside, and does not tire on the way. He who neither sees nor feels my inspiration goes up the mountain in great labor. In proportion to how clear man is in his corporeality and in his spirit, so does he discern my inspiration. And if he has great purity as well, then he shapes my light into corporeal words. I taught man to call these my revealed words. Nevertheless, I did not create any corporeal man perfect, nor can any man reveal my words perfectly. But I created the way open to all men to try to reveal me. According to man's approximation to perfect manhood, so do I reveal to him by my presence and my words. According to man's imperfections in manhood, so does my inspiration not manifest on his senses. I created perfect manhood possible, equal in corporeal and spiritual senses. Strong corporeal senses and weak spiritual senses detract man from my presence and make him infidel to my person. Such a man denies my inspiration and the inspiration of my angels. He is a little more than a forest tree, which has a trunk and many branches, but does not move from its place. Chapter 6. I am one spirit, saith Jehovah, Creator. My quickening power is upon all the living. Because of this they live and move, according to the different structures of the living. So is my inspiration manifested by them. One, like the hare, runs in cowardice. Another, like a lion, is ferocious. Another, without judgment, like the serpent. And so to man, one is inspired to music, another to mathematics, another to seership, and so on. To all of these, I am the one, the universal inspirer, moving them all. According to their organic structure, so do they manifest my inspiration. I made the serpent the lowest of the living creatures. I made the serpent the lowest of the living creatures, for I gave him an element capable of destroying himself. When the earth was encircled with poisonous gases, I created poisonous vines, weeds, trees, and all kinds of herbs growing profusely upon the earth. In that way I created the vegetable world, from destroying gases and from earth's substance. And in that day all growing things upon the earth which I created were poisoned as to animal life. When I created the serpents of all sizes, I created them, and they were poisonous also. And the serpents I created were carnivorous, feeding upon one another. Self-impregnating, I created them. And I drove the poison of their air down. I drove the poison of the air down into vegetation. From there into the animal world. Thus I purified the air of heaven. This was the first creation I created on this world. Then I overcast the earth with falling nebula, and covered up the poison growing upon the earth, and they were turned into oil and coal. Then I made a new creation, the second creation, giving feet, legs, and bones to the animals, and designed for the earth. I designed for the earth. And when the earth was ripe for man, I created him, male and female. I created those of the second creation. And man was dumb like other animals, without speech and without understanding, even less than any other creature I had created. Nevertheless I gave to man, and thus made him out of the dissolved elements of every living thing that had preceded him. And man partook of the first and second creation. After the manner of every animal on the earth, I created man. With all the characteristics of all of them, I created them. Male and female, I created them. And man was conscious of his creation. not knowing where it came from, nor did he know which was his own species. And I sent angels to man to teach him who he was, and roused him up to his capabilities for which I created him. And my angels drew from man's side substance, and thus took on corporeal forms. And the angels dwelt with man as helpmates to make man understand. Chapter 7. I created man, even from the beginning, that he should learn to be an independent being, says Jehovah, Creator. And when my angels had taught man speech, making him name all the animals in the world, after the names of the animals called themselves, I commanded my angels to come away from man for a season. To my angels I said, behold, all the animals I created in the world, to man only I gave the capacity to transmit knowledge to his brethren by words. And only to man I gave capacity to comprehend an idea of me, his creator. Nevertheless, I inspire all the living animals that I created, but they do not know it. I inspired the spider to make his net, the bird to build her nest, the wild goose to fly south before the winter comes, the mare to neigh for her coat, the ant to lay in its stores, the bee to dwell in its queendom, and so on. By my inspiration upon them I move and control every living creature. Males and females I inspire to come together at times and seasons, and then to live apart during gestation. I keep these examples before man as a lesson of the wisdom of my inspiration. To man I give liberty to acquire wisdom by observing the method of my work as I manifest in other living creatures. I have also given man capacity to attain to know my inspiration in contradistinction from the inspiration he receives from his surroundings. To know other creature that I give this capacity. What comes of me is without pain or injury to anyone, and with liberty to all. Such are my inspirations. When man witnesses a battle, he is inspired to battle. When he witnesses peace and love, he is inspired to peace and love. What moves man in consonance and wisdom and to life is my inspiration. What comes to man in dissonance and folly and to death is inspiration from man's surroundings. I inspired the serpent to bite to death, for so I created it. This is no sin, for it fulfills its labor. It is the remnant of a poison of other errors. Man I created not to destruction, but to life, wisdom, peace, and love towards all. When man practices virtue, wisdom, truth, and love to all, his inspiration is from me direct. When man practices destruction and selfishness, his inspiration is indirectly from me, through the conflict of his surroundings. And he thus becomes evil instead of good. Through direct inspiration, I move upon all the animals I created. This I also create possible to men separate from indirect inspiration. Chapter 8. Although all inspiration goes directly from me to all the living, yet I also created man susceptible to indirect inspiration from all my creations. Whatever receives from me direct is in harmony with me. The lily and the rose I created perfect in their order. The female bird I inspired to build their nest in season perfect in their order. And it is so with all my created beings except man. All the rest do not err. In their order I made them, and they all fulfill the glory for which I made them. But because I made man with the capacity to receive inspiration from all these things, he manifests both evil and good, according to his birth and surroundings, so is man good or bad. Nevertheless, I created man with the capacity to comprehend this also, for so I designed him from the start to work his way up to the Godhead, understanding all below him. And I sent my angels to man, teaching him how to distinguish the difference in the inspirations upon him, so that he could govern himself accordingly. And my angel said to man, become one with your Creator. These are his direct inspirations: to love your Creator above all else, to love your neighbor as yourself, to give delights only and not pain, to not kill, to not do violently against his creatures, to be considerate of the liberty of all the living, to not interdict the happiness and hope of others, except only where, in its place, you can return to transcendent glory and hope. For these are the direct inspirations from your Creator. But these are your evil inspirations, O man. These come from your birth and surroundings, formerly called Satan. To kill and to slander, to punish, to destroy Jehovah's created beings, to strive for yourself above another, to gratify your flesh at the expense of purity or wisdom, to be false to Jehovah, to be false to yourself, to speak falsely, to covet another's, to cohabitate in the gestative period, to engage in strife, or to aid and abet conflicts, which are the fruit of carnivorous food transmitted at birth. Chapter 9. Man I created with the capacity to distinguish my direct from my indirect inspiration, says Creator. And my angels gave him rules by which he could make himself manifest the difference between the two. Man said, behold, any man may say, thus saith Jehovah. One kills his neighbor, saying, I was thus inspired by Creator. Another practices all goodness, and his words are wisdom and comprehension. He says, I was inspired by Creator. I say to you, O man, in this I also gave you liberty. Therefore judge for yourself as to which came from me, and which from his surroundings of Satan. You shall be your own judge in all things. Behold, I sent my God to judge you, but you shall also judge the judgments of your God, and afterward you shall judge yourself for the same way. I created you a perpetual judge, not only to judge yourself and all the worlds besides, but you shall judge me, your Creator. I have given you many sacred books, and I said to you, unless you judge them, you shall be caught in a snare. I charge you, you shall accept nothing from men, angels, or gods, but you shall rely on your own inspiration from your Creator. Such is my word, which I speak to your own soul. What comes to you from a man is indirect inspiration. What comes to you from an angel is indirect. What comes to you from the gods is indirect. No direct inspiration by me can come to you from a book or a sermon or from anything in all my creations, but only from me, your Creator. Though one man receives direct inspiration from me and he writes it in a book, yet when it comes to you, it is indirect inspiration, as it is not binding upon you, except only as far as my direct inspiration upon you moves you to receive it. Yet I did not create all men with the same clearness to perceive me, and to frame my wisdom in words. Only a few will turn away from the inspiration of the world and come to me. Many profess me in words, but they do not fulfill my inspiration in practice. My words come easily to the pure in heart, and my wisdom shows itself in the frame of their speech. For I give them words, just as I give inspiration to the animal, to do perfectly and wisely in parts for which I created them. Behold, I show the dumb spider how to weave its geometrical net. Is it a great wonder for me to give words of wisdom to a righteous man? Or to put him in the way of receiving my revelations, or to show him the harmony and glory of my creations? Chapter 10. In the first creation none heard me, none saw me, saith Jehovah. Even to this day many men deny me and my person. To teach you, O man, that you should be considerate of your brother's talents, behold, what a labor for my gods and my ministering angels. To show you that no two men see alike anything I created. To make you cautious, so that because you cannot hear me, you shall not judge your brother who can hear me. To induce you to this and that without interfering with your liberty, to make you watchful, to learn by your own inspiration from me, to make you skeptical towards others' versions of my words, and yet make you try to discover my words and my person of your own self, to see me and hear me. Now behold, in the early days over the whole world, only one here and there could be made to comprehend me. As you may say to the beast of the field, or to the dog, or the most knowing of animals, Jehovah, Jehovah. They will not hear you understandingly. So it was with nearly all the world in the early times. Today I have quickened many. Tomorrow all people in the world shall know me. This is the progress I created possible for you. This is the road you shall travel. Yet you have blockaded the way against me on every side. You have put me away. You said natural law, moral law, divine law, instinct, reflection, intuition, second sight. I say to you, I have abolished all these things. I will have them no more forever. I have no laws. I do by virtue of my own presence. I am not far away. Behold, I am with you. I gave you instinct. I gave no instinct to any creature under the sun. By my presence they do what they do. I gave no tuition by intuition. I am the cause to all and for all. I am the most easily understood of all things. My hand is ready for whomever will reach out to me. My voice is ready to clear to whomever will turn away from other things and away from philosophies and ambiguous words, serving me in good works. My light is present and answers to all who follow their highest knowledge. Do not seek to spread my gospel, chapter 11, and entice followers to this or that, saith Jehovah. Neither go about preaching, saying, this saith Jehovah. Let all men hear me in their own way. No man shall follow another. I will have no sect. I have no creed. I am not exclusive, but I am with all my living creatures. To those who choose me, practicing their all highest light, I am a shield and a fortification against all darkness and against all evil and contention. You shall not establish me by man's laws, nor by the government of man, saith Jehovah, nor establish me by man's laws, nor government any book or revelation, saying, behold, this is Jehovah's book. To keep man from interfering with man, this has been a great labor. To teach man to comprehend liberty, especially as to thought and knowledge, this has been a great labor. For he falls easily under the inspiration of his surroundings, and falls under the teachings and the persuasions of his brother, because he comes from my hand into the world in innocence and a helpless infant, and his elder brothers take advantage of his innocence, and teach him their own knowledge instead of directing him to me. And his elder brothers were in darkness themselves, and the elder brothers before them. I said to man, be free. Learn to know liberty. Think for yourself. Study your Creator in all things, and in yourself in particular. Turn away from your elder brothers. Come to the all-highest fountain. Do not be confounded with abstruse reasonings. Cut all things short, God-like. Learn of the Creator and His creations. There is nothing more. You are one of the seeds of Creator, and were planted by His hand. Be free from the whole world. Chapter 12. Of all my created animals, only man I created not perfect in his order, said Jehovah. I created him as the most devoid of knowledge and the most helpless of animals. I did not give the bird capacity to improve her feathers, nor yet improve her species, nor did I give her a book, neither either on how to build her nest, nor regarding her behavior with other birds. Nor did I say to the hare, be of foxes, or go teach your young to depend on their fleetness. Yet both birds and beasts move by my inspiration perfectly in the order I made them. The birds do their work, and the hare flees from the fox. But the child of man, his will the child of man will put his finger in a serpent's mouth, and the child will also eat any deadly poison. Thus I created man differently from all other things on the earth, but I gave him the foundation upon which he could attain to perfection in all the attributes of my other living creatures. I said to man, be observant of what you shall eat and drink, and where you shall dwell by day and sleep by night, for all things shall write upon your soul the character of kind of which they are made. If you will be gentle like a lamb, and non-resistant and docile, and so you can obtain great knowledge, feed upon herbs, fruits, and cereals. Your blood shall be pure and cool, and charged with food for your spirit, in peace and love. But if you will be ferocious like a carnivorous beast, then you shall feed upon flesh and fish, and your blood shall be hot, and your spirit shall be stirred with passion, anger, contention, tattling, war, jealousy, and love of vengeance. For whatever you charge your blood with shall be charged upon your spirit, because you cannot feed on fish or flesh except through destruction and death. Even so, destruction and death shall come upon you in your soul. From your own blood your spirit shall be inspired, even according to what your blood contains. As through corporeal your corporeal part is nurtured, so through gases, atmospherian part, your spirit is nurtured. A woman said, behold, I don't kill any lamb or bird or fish. Others kill them, and I eat them. To kill my lambs and birds and whatever I created alive is a simple act, says Jehovah. Let no man waste much speech because of such destructions. It is the contamination of the blood of man by carnivorous food upon which you shall ponder. I created all the living so that like would attract like. Whoever makes himself carnivorous cannot escape conflict and contention within his own members, soul, and body. Until the earth was circumscribed, I gave man carnivorous food. Today I make it poison to him, and man shall turn away from it, and the smell of it shall sicken him, and the sight of blood shall fill him with horror. The butcher shall be ashamed of his vocation, the neighbor shall say to him, you stink of blood. Because you gave us fish, we also drank to drunkenness. Because you gave us flesh, we also smoked and took narcotics. Because you gave us flesh, we are rotten with cart and washed in the lungs. Because we feasted on flesh, Jehovah answered us in incorruptible flesh. Lo, we stink from the sole of our feet to the crown of our heads, and our offspring are born into the world so helpless and corrupt that half of them die in infancy. Jehovah said, when I commanded the nations of the earth to peace, behold, I raised my hand above the carnivores' head. And as there was a time when I created every animal perfect in its order, so also shall such a time come to man. Wow. And now is the dawn of that time, therefore I named it Cosmon. As the spider learns to build her web without a book, so to be to dwell in a queendom in peace and industry without books, written laws, and instructions on how to do this or that. Even so now is a new birth to the generations of my people. By my direct inspiration upon them, they shall learn to do all things perfectly. In the order of men, in the order of man for which I created him. Man shall know how to do things easily and without the long labor of books and without being shown or instructions given. As of old, I commanded you to have dominion over every living thing I created. So now I command you to take the earth and the waters of the earth and the air above the earth into your dominion also. And you shall rule over them and drive away the heat and bring the cool, and drive away the cold and bring the heat, as you will, for the benefit of all the living. To accomplish which you shall now, first of all, adapt yourself to your Creator according to your highest light upon you, to put away your own disharmony in your blood and flesh and in your soul, opening the way for my inspiration to come direct to you so that you may be one with me. Chapter 13. Man says, if I cannot add the smallest fraction to my corporeal body, and it's all built up by Jehovah, indeed it is his. Neither am I accountable as to whether it is well made or well preserved. And if I cannot make one new thought or idea, then indeed all my thoughts and ideas are Jehovah's, given to me by inspiration, either directly by Jehovah or by his creations. Neither then am I accountable for my thoughts, ideas, or behavior as to whether they are good or bad. Truly then, I am not responsible for anything, neither of what I am, nor what I do, nor for what becomes of me. I am merely an automaton. I am myself as nothing. I am nothing. Jehovah says, because I gave you liberty, you are responsible for all you are, for all you make yourself, for all that shall come to you, and for your peace and happiness, both in this world and the next. Liberty I gave you as to what you would eat, what you would wear to cover yourself, and where you would reside. I gave you liberty to build your house in your own way. But behold, I did not give such liberty to the bird, as to her nest, nor to the beaver, nor to the ant, nor to any other living creature. Liberty I gave to you as to whether you would eat herbs or fish or flesh, but such liberty I did not give to any other living creature. To the sheep and to the horse I said, eat herbs. To the tiger and lion I said, eat flesh. To you I give liberty to make yourself carnivorous or herbivores or omnivores. Whatever you put into your mouth and it is united with your blood and become part of your body, behold, it was by my labor and by my power that it was accomplished. Truly I was your workman, and that you did in the manner was to choose. All that you did in the matter was to choose. You were in that respect the master, and I was your servant. And behold, I did not make the servant responsible for the master's behavior. Behold, you made yourself carnivorous. The fault is your own. I placed before you the herbivorous animals and the carnivorous animals. I gave you eyes to look upon them regarding their behavior, whether ferocious and destructive or peaceful, patient and docile. And I spoke to your soul, saying, look and judge for yourself as to what you shall eat. Observe the order of my creation and the result upon all of my living creatures. Therefore, you are accountable to yourself and responsible to the entire world for having made your corporeal body as you have. And the same applies to your spirit, soul, mind, ideas, and your thoughts, for I gave you liberty in the same way. Yes, I gave you liberty to receive your inspiration from drunkards, harlots, fighters, or from men of wisdom, or in the innocence of childhood, for the virtue of a virgin, or from a city of corruption, or from a country with pure air, and trees and flowers, and mountains and valleys. And I spoke to your soul, saying, choose what you will be. Choose what you will to be the inspiration of your mind, spirit, and soul. Behold, I, your creator, am your servant to impregnate you with thoughts, ideas, and dispositions. All you have to do is choose. Yes, I said, I will even take you to whichever place and condition you may choose. And now, because I gave you this extreme liberty, and you have chosen, behold, you are accountable to yourself, and for your every thought and idea, and for your spirit and soul, and in your behavior, and you're responsible you are responsible to the whole world. With liberty I bestow responsibility. I am the power, the light, and the life. In one thing chiefly you are not an automaton, and this is your own liberty, your own self. You own whatever you are. Yourself I gave to yourself, and even at the zero of your entity I said to you, and continue to say, go, make yourself. All other animals I created perfectly with my own hands, but to you I gave liberty to make yourself, even as you have. Yes, even in this, I said, you choose. And I will do the labor myself for you. So that choice and liberty are the sum total of which I gave to you. Now, therefore, O man, as I gave you choice and liberty to you, so you give the same to your neighbor and associate. With these, there is no responsibility. With these, all responsibility. Without these, there is no responsibility. With these, all responsibility. Choose your own food, your own clothing, your own house. Choose the location where you shall live, and provide the way for whatever inspiration you may, remembering you shall be responsible in all, and the result shall come to you according to whatever you fawn upon Satan or emulate your Creator. Chapter 14. These are Tay's revelations of Jehovah's times and seasons, appointed and chosen. The northern line of the sun shall be the end of the year, and shall be called the last day of the old year, says Jehovah. And the first day after that, when the sun starts on his southern course, shall be the beginning of the year, and it shall be called the New Year's Day. These are my times, in the end and the beginning of the year, which I created. And I made the earth and the sun as my written testimony of them. And I blessed and sanctified the old year's day and the New Year's Day, and I appointed them to be holy days, so that men might remember the order and the system of my works. And I said to man, from one New Year's Day until the succeeding one shall be called 1 year. For it is one completed oscillation of the earth, and of her revolution in orbit where I placed her. Therefore you shall have completed within a year. Therefore what you have completed within a year shall be remembered by you, so that you may judge yourself in those matters. And on the old year's day you shall render up all forgiveness in all things against all people. And with the setting of the sun on that day you shall be purged of all animosity and claims against every man, woman, and child in the entire world. And you shall acknowledge this in words, songs, prayers, and in tokens of intrinsic value to whomever you had offended during the past year. Tay said, for which reason the old year's day shall be named the most holy Sabbath day. Behold, it is in accord with the heavenly kingdoms, and it shall be with you a day of spiritual communion and of praise to Jehovah and his creations, with music, oratory, ceremonies, and processions for your youth, orderly and well disciplined. And on the New Year's Day you shall rejoice and sing and dance, mingling together, old and young, even as the old year and the new year are joined together side by side. The 7th day of the new year shall be the next Sabbath, and it shall be called a day of rest and a spiritual communion, the praise of Jehovah and his creations with singing and oratory. So also shall every 7th day be a Sabbath day, for which reason 7 days shall be 1 week, being 6 days for labor and 1 for rest and worship. For this has been proven throughout the world to be good for man. These then shall be the moon's days, or months. The first new moon's day after New Year's Day shall be called the beginning of the first month, and the completion of the 4th quarter of the moon shall be named the first month. The next 4 quarters of the moon shall be the second month, and it shall be named the second month. And the next completed 4 quarters of the moon shall be named the third month, and so on to completion of the year. Such then shall be the months in any and every year, for these are the moon's times Jehovah created them. Neither shall it matter or not, the months overlap a year, a New Year's Day, as they are created and moved by the Almighty. Even so shall man compute and register them. For example, a New Year's Day may come upon the 12th day of the 12th moon, or on another moon's day. Still, as they fall, so shall they be numbered in truth. As the moon's time differs to different continents, so shall the month's times of that inhabitants of different continents be locally to them. But in the intercourse between different nations and different continents, the month's times shall not be enumerated. But in all such cases, the year and the days of the year shall be named. As for example, the 17th year and the 90th day. And it shall come to pass that the Sabbath days all around the world shall be the same day to all people, even with travel of the sun, by which Jehovah's heavenly kingdom shall be in concert with mortals, as to times and seasons in all things. Chapter 15, Holy Compact Day. As Jehovah Creator through his God bequeathed to the children of Gautama a government unfettered by the name of God, Lord or Savior, so Jehovah sanctified the day of the ratification of the signing and sealing of his compact, the American Constitution, as the day of the Holy Seal. And for its sign he made a hand holding a quill, which shall be the master sign of salutation in the lodge on the day and evening commending the same. And Jehovah made the answer to the master sign, holding up the member of the lodge a piece of paper signifying constitution. Therefore it is said, the master saluted on the sign, day of the Holy Seal, and the lodge answered in the sign, constitution. Jehovah said, remember this day and keep it holy to the end of the world, for this was the beginning of the liberty of man. Chapter 16, Holy Veil Day. As Jehovah through his God pulled aside the veil of heaven, saying, let my angels go forth, the living and the dead shall converse together. So he sanctified the day when the angels of heaven were made known to mortals, and he gave a sign, a hand holding aside a veil, signifying heaven unveiled, and the master sign in the lodge on the day and evening commemorating the same. And Jehovah gave to the members of the lodge to answering in the sign 3 clappings, signifying endless joy. And Jehovah said, remember this day and keep it holy to the end of the world, for without books and without arguments, behold, I have proven to you the continued life of the soul of man. Book of Inspiration, chapter 17. The Fallen Swords Day. As Jehovah through his God delivered Gautama's slaves into freedom, so dealt the final blow to general slavery. So Jehovah blessed that day and sanctified it. And he gave to man the master sign in the lodge, a hand pointing toward a pen, signifying, I have proved this mightier than the sword. And Jehovah gave to the members of the lodge to answer in the sign, clasped hands looking upward. In your praise, Jehovah. Jehovah said, remember the day of proclamation of freedom, for it is my day, which I bequeath to you as a day of freedom in all religious jollification, which you shall keep every year and commemorate to the end of the world. Chapter 18, Book of Inspiration, OSP, Holy Cosmon Day. Besides the day above, Jehovah gave one more holy day, Cosmon Day, which he also commanded to be kept in commemoration of another matter, which Jehovah commanded to be secret with the faithful for a certain period of time, which has not expired to this day. Therefore, the day of Cosmon is still a secret with the faithists. Jehovah said, so that mortals and angels may live and labor in concert. Behold, I have given certain days by which large congregations on earth may be met by my organic heavens in reunion, mortals and angels, for the happiness of both and for the glory of my works. Now behold, as by my presence I inspire you when you labor with me, and you are doing righteously with purity and love, so also is it with you in regards to my angels. When you make and keep your corporeal body pure and clean, my angels who are pure and clean come to you and aid you and enlighten you. When you put away all unclean thoughts and selfish desires and seek to obtain wisdom and learn how best you can help your fellow man, behold, my angels of light and wisdom come to you, and by virtue of their presence, which you do not see, they inspire your soul in the light of your Creator. Man has said, I will not be a seer, prophet, Suis, or Sargis. Frankly, I will not have angels with me to teach me or give me any light or knowledge of the sun. Whatever I can attain, it is by my own. It is wiser for me to attain to know and to do things by myself than to have angels come and give to me or manifest through me. In fact, I will not be used by man or angel, for it would be prostituting my flesh and my spirit to others. Behold, my body was given to me for my own use and profit, to establish and develop my own soul to eternal happiness and individuality. My presence is alike to all people, says Jehovah. I am to the just and the unjust. I am everywhere, both in darkness and in light. Because you are in darkness, you do not perceive me. Because you are imperfect in flesh and spirit, you deny me. Because you are confounded with disharmony, you do not believe in me. He who does not have an ear for music does not discover a tune, just as he who is discordant in my person denies my person. There is no selfishness in the pure, neither for earthly things, nor for their own flesh and spirit. A pure man is like a clear glass. He can see out of himself, and so perceive my angels in me. Through the pure man, pure angels can see mortality as well as spirituality. Their presence inspires him to understand all things. The angels are as much with the man who is not a seer or Suis as with one who are seers, Suis, and Sargis. Because you do not see or hear angels only proves your darkness, but does not prove the absence of angels. To the dark come the dark, with the dark abide the dark, both angels and mortals. The man of darkness is ruled more by angels than the man of light. Behold, I did not create you to fill any place in all the world for your own self's sake. I gave neither your flesh nor your spirit to be yours only. You shall relinquish these also, saying, to you, O Jehovah, I give all, my flesh, my spirit, my mind, and all my service to be yours forever. You shall say, appropriate me, soul, and my body, in whatever way you can, so that I may do the most good to others, mortals and angels. Until you attain this, you shall not hear my voice nor see my hand. As I give away myself and thus created all things, so you follow in my footsteps in order to become one with me. In this lies the secret of wisdom, truth, love, power, time without end. End of Book of Inspiration.